Start with lean.
Yeah.
Now see, lean actually originated at Toyota Production Systems, right? So we'll be discussing some of the concepts, some of the practices to be followed in lean. Now, when we follow lean in agile world, right? Lean is often used with Kanban, right? Lean is used with lean, Kanban, and Scrum together as well, right? So many times, when you learn, there are certain methodologies for agile like continuous delivery lean or continuous lean, right? Or lean. It is not simply lean. It is uh, lean plus Kanban, right? Now, origination of lean as well as Kanban, both are from Toyota Production Systems, right? From production systems actually, and three important areas that lean emphasizes, right, are Muda, Mura, and Muri, right? Now, the ultimate purpose of lean is to maximize value by eliminate waste. But the three key areas or three key attributes that lean emphasize upon are Muda, Mura, and Muri, right? Muda means waste, right? And lean talks about, eliminating any kind of waste. Mura means irregularities, right? Unevenness, right? Mura, right? Lean will help you to eliminate any kind of Mura, right? Muri means overburdening or unnecessary stress on people or machines, right? So these are the three important areas that we are going to streamline: Muda, Mura, and Muri. Now, in order to understand what is Muda, what is Mura, and what is Muri, I'll take a very simple example in front of you. I'll take very, very simple example. Now, can you see this diagram, guys? Can you see these trucks? There are 4 rows, right? Now, are you able to see the picture? Suppose 6 tons of material has to be overloaded, right? 6 tons of a material has to be overloaded, right? And it has to move from location A to a truck has to move from location A to location B, carrying 6 tons of the load, right? And the capacity of each truck is 3 ton. Suppose the capacity of each ton is 3 ton. Can I call this situation, the first situation, right, as Muri, overburdening, because the maximum capacity of a truck is 3 tons. Can I call it as Muri, guys? Can I call it Muri?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Right. Second one. Now, see, the maximum capacity of a truck is 3 tons, right? Now we have to load 6 tons. Now, can I call this situation, the second situation, as unevenness or Mura? Can I call it as unevenness or not? Ideally, what should be the situation? Should I? Is the first truck overloaded?
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So this is Mura, right? Ideally, it should be 3-3, right? Now, the third situation represents waste, Muda. Have we wasted 1 truck in the third situation?
Yes.
Right, we have wasted. Now, this is what we want to have, right? No Muda, no Muri, no Mura. Right? Is the last one represent the ideal scenario or not? This is what we want.
Yes, yes.
Right? We don't want any Muda, we don't want any Mura, we don't want any Muri, right? This is the goal of, right, lean. Now, see, lean talks about various kinds of waste. Can we see some waste, right, that lean talks about? Lean talks about different types of waste, right? Let's quickly go through some of the waste, right? Some of the basic 8 wastes that can be there, right, in projects. And one of the purposes is to eliminate these wastes, right? Defects or bugs, right? They are wastes. Overproduction in case of manufacturing is a waste, right? In case of software development, right, or software or IT projects, extra unneeded features are waste, right? In manufacturing, waiting, right? In case of software development, any kind of delay between activities is a waste, right? Now, not using available skills, is it a waste or not? Not using available skills, right? It's also waste, right? Any kind of transportation or handoffs between performers. Now tell me, can there be some waste because of handoffs between the performers? Can handoffs lead to waste or not? Guys, can handoffs lead to waste or not?
No.
It can.
Sir, see, I'll tell you, handoffs means, when suppose Ishan sends an email to Ritesh, right, Ritesh? Now it lies on the email box of Ritesh for, let's say, 3 hours or 4 hours, right? Now, and tell me if people are dependent on each other, right? Such handoffs will happen, right? Maybe Ishan will send mail to Ritesh for something. Ritesh will send email to Vishal for something, right? Vishal may send something to Divya for something. This is handoff. Now, if there is a lot of handoff or handback, will there be loss of time or not? Tell me, guys.
Yes.
It will delay.
Now, that's why, in Agile, we talk about self-managed cross-functional teams that are highly collaborative. Now, tell me, if we have self-managed cross-functional teams, will it prevent these handoffs from happening or not? Tell me, if there's a cross-functional teams, self-managed teams, will the handoffs will be less or not? Highly collaborative teams, right? You won't be sending even an email, right? You are co-located, you are discussing, you are sharing, right? You are not dependent on emails and handoffs, right? This will minimize the handoffs. That's why we say that in Agile, we need highly collaborative, self-managed teams, right? Cross-functional teams, which will minimize the time lost because handing off work from one to another person, right? Any kind of partially done work is also a waste. Task switching, when you don't focus on one task, right? It also reduces productivity, right? Or reinventing the wheel or gold plating, it is also waste, right? That's why, in project management, you say reuse, right? Rather than reinvent. Try to reuse whatever is already available, right? These are different sources of waste. Now, as I told you, the goal of lean is to eliminate waste, right? Now, in order to eliminate waste, a technique which is used is called as value stream mapping, right? Value stream mapping is a technique which is used to eliminate waste, right? Now, what is a value stream? First of all, before we talk about value stream map, what is a value stream? Have you heard about value stream, guys? What is a value stream? What is a value stream, guys? You might have heard about value stream. What is a value stream? What is a value stream? What does it represent? Guys, what is a value stream? Vishal, have you heard about value stream?
I have heard about it. Is it like the different, different stages of a life cycle of product?
Okay, this is also different stages. This is also one of the value stream, right? Now tell me, see, in organization, you conduct various activities, various functions. Can each function be represented by a workflow or not? Whatever you do is a workflow. See, tell me, when you apply leave, right, in your organization, right, in all the organizations, all these systems are IT enabled. Do you follow certain steps or not?
Yes.
Tell me. Do you follow certain steps or not? Now, tell me one thing. When you buy any merchandise from Amazon, do you follow certain steps or not?
Yes.
Can I call these steps as workflows?
Mhm.
When you go and buy pizza from Domino's, do you follow certain steps or not?
Yes.
Right? Now, tell me, in any organization, the activities are carried out based on some workflows.
Yeah.
Everything is a workflow in every organization, right?
Mhm.
Is everything a workflow? See, because I could have easily defined a value stream like this, right? The steps carried out to generate value, right? Right? Value stream represents the steps taken to generate some value, right? For example, when you buy books or any other merchandise from Amazon, you follow certain steps, right? Right? When you apply leaves, again, every function, suppose, in any organization, if purchase order has to be created, are there some steps or not to be followed? So such workflow, right, that depicts different stages of a process or a work. For example, right, approving a change request, is it a workflow or not? Is it a workflow or not, approving a change request?
Yes.
It is.
Right? It's a workflow, right? So any workflow, right, can be represented as a value stream, right? Now, some people categorize value streams in a two different manner. Value stream from the perspective of consumer, which is called as operational value stream. Value stream from the perspective of developer, which is called as development value stream. For example, I gave you example of Amazon website. Now, in Amazon website, whatever value stream that I mentioned, it was from consumer's perspective, right? Right? A consumer logs into Amazon, goes to Amazon, search a product, select a product, add it to the wish list, right? Prepare a cart, then pay. This is a operational value stream. But from the developer's perspective, will this be the value stream? For the developer's perspective, it will be, exploring the requirement, designing, development, testing, right? This will be the steps or not? Are you following me? Divya, are you following me? Charu?
Yes. Yes, Pankaj.
These are all work, right? Different stages, right? Now, I was telling about value stream map, right? Now, see, one of the key goal of Lean is to increase the efficiency of the system by removing the non-value added steps or waste, right? Now, what is value stream map, right? Now, the purpose of value stream map is to optimize the flow of information, right, or material required to complete a process, right? Now, how does it do it, right? First of all, the visual map is created for a workflow or a value stream. Now, from that visual map, we identify those steps which will add value and those steps which will not add value, right? For example, right? Suppose we have to implement any change request, right? Tell me, for implementing any change request, are these the steps to be followed? Design, right? Or change control boards approval, then development, right? Integration and testing, and then deploy. Are these the steps that represents the different or these steps, do these steps represents the workflow for change implementation or not? Right, Aditya, do these steps refer to the implementations? All, if you have to implement a change request, will you follow these steps or not?
Yes.
Anushri, right? You will follow these steps, right? Charu, will you follow these steps to implement a change?
Yes, sir.
Now, in this, some steps are value added, some steps are not value added. For example, design. Can you see point, right? The value added time is how much? 0.25 months work, right? Now, total time is 1 month. Similarly, CCB approval, the total time is how much? 0.01 month work, but this is the value added time, but total time is 1 month. Development, yeah.
Vishal,
Sorry, Pankaj, I'm not getting the difference between this VA time, total time.
Yeah, see, for example, suppose I'm just taking one example in front of you. Suppose change control board take 0.01 month, right, to review and approve the change, right? So is it a value added time or not? The actual review time that CCB spent on this change was only 0.01 month, right? Is it a value added time or not?
Yeah, correct.
But what happened, when this change was given to CCB, it remains in the inbox, right, for some time, right? And inbox of some important person for some time. Then to collaborate and to call, then there were some delays because of some other reasons, right? Though the change approval took 1 month in total, but the relevant time was only 0.01. Are you getting, Nitin?
Yeah.
नितिन सपोज आपको कोई डॉक्यूमेंट अप्रूव करना है, राइट? आपने अपने बॉस को दिया मॉर्निंग में, उसने आपको अप्रूवल करके दिया अगले दिन शाम को, 16 घंटे लगे, 16 घंटे टोटल लगे,
करेक्ट।
बट बॉस ने खाली 1 घंटा रिव्यू करके अप्रूव कर दिया हुआ,
ठीक है।
तो इसमें कितना वैल्यू एडेड टाइम है? खाली
0.01 का
1 आवर इज अ वैल्यू एडेड टाइम जो उसने रिव्यू में लगाया, बाकी सारा तो वेस्ट हुआ है टाइम।
करेक्ट
15 hours is loss of time, right?
राइट
Yes or no?
करेक्ट
Right? So इसीलिए हम बोलते हैं that's why at a sprint level we give autonomy to development teams, right? That's why we are more focused towards having cross-functional self-managed teams so that such things can be minimized, right? Now similarly in development, how much is the value added time? 1.5 months, but 3 months is the total time, right?
Pankaj, again, in this, change control board, like 2 months, what does that mean?
No, ये तो cumulative time है ना।
हाँ,
प्रोजेक्ट का टाइम तो 2 महीने हो गया ना, 1 month यहाँ लगा, 1 month यहाँ लगा, इसके 2 months हो गए, ठीक है ना? टोटल टाइम 2 months हो गया ना।
कैसे
अब देखो ही मत
समझे?
उसे, एक अब थर्ड कॉलम को देखो ही मत,
ओके,
इट्स नॉट नीडेड, डोंट लुक एट थर्ड कॉलम, राइट? फॉरगेट अबाउट इट, राइट? डेवलपमेंट, हाउ मच इज द वैल्यू एडेड टाइम? 1.5 months, बट टोटल टाइम इज 3 months। तो कहां पे डिस्ट्रैक्शन हुआ है? देखो, जब डेवलपमेंट आप करते हो तो अनप्रोडक्टिव मीटिंग्स होती हैं। डू वी हैव अनप्रोडक्टिव मीटिंग्स इन ड्यूरिंग द डेवलपमेंट और नॉट?
yeah, it can be possible.
It happens many times, right?
Unexpected meetings. Yeah.
Right? Or expected also. See, many times you get distracted in meetings,
But
right?
again, unexpected meetings also required meetings. Right?
No, but see, we are not talking about anything that contributes value. We are talking about many things which don't contribute value, right? Right. So any meeting that is adding to the value or any important discussion, it is in this 1.5 months, right? Is that okay?
Okay.
Now, 3 months is the total time, right? Now, integration and test, 2 months is the value added time and 6 months is the total time, right? Similarly, deployment, right? If you talk about deployment, 0.1 month is the actual time and 1 month is the total time, right? Now, tell me, now, using this value stream map analysis, right? What we understand is we take a ratio of value added time by total time. What is the total time? 1 plus 1, 2, 3, 5, 11 and 12 months, right? And what is the value added time? If I add 0.25, 0.01, 1.5, 2 months and 0.1, I get 3.86 months. So is my value added time 32% or not?
Yes.
Right? Is my value added time 32% or not? Right? Now the purpose of value stream mapping, right? The purpose of value stream mapping is to understand the workflow, right, visually, and try to understand what are value added step and what are non-value added step, right? Our goal is to minimize the non-value added step, when we minimize the non-value added step, our process cycle efficiency, PCE, goes up. Is that okay? Is that fine, guys?
Yeah.
Right? There is another example, same type of calculations, right? Now you can look at this example also, right? We are taking through a requirement, right, to release, right? And the value added time and total time are given, right? Now, if you see, if I add all the value added time, I'll get 16.5. The total time is 25 weeks, and the process cycle efficiency is 66%, right? So this is in brief about value stream mapping. Now, if you want to see a very simple example, you can take you can take example of, you can take multiple examples from this. Now tell me, you have been going to McDonald's earlier, right? Now, if you talk about 2 years ago, how would you order? If you physically go to McDonald's, how would you order everything? You will stand in a queue, right? You will, right? When your turn comes, you will order all the items, right? Whether you need a burger or anything else, like pizza puff or anything else, right? You order all the items, right? This was the workflow earlier or not? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
This was right, and then your order will be processed, right? From the front end person, it will go to the back, the kitchen. The order will be processed. You will get the outcome of the order, right? Whatever you want. But now tell me, what is the new process now? What is the new workflow now?
You can
You will
already order from the application.
Yeah, you can order from. See, when you go to MACD, there are various, areas where they have put computers, right? You can directly order and pay there, and you get the receipt. You take the receipt and give it to the counter. Does it save time or not?
Yes.
Right. It saves time. In fact, it maximizes the value added time, right? It reduces some of the non-value added time. Yes or no?
Yes.
Right. So this is the purpose of value stream map, to understand, to analyze any process, right? Right? Any workflow, any value stream, right? By depicting it visually, try to find out which processes are value added, which steps are value added steps, which steps are non-value added steps. And our goal is to minimize the non-value added step, right? And if you minimize the non-value added step, the process cycle efficiency will increase. And right, the formula of process cycle efficiency, as I discussed before, is value added time by total time. Is that okay?
Pankaj, I have a question here.
Yeah.
I mean, the example that we took of, something like Domino's. So,
Yeah.
I mean, in value stream mapping, we are saying that we will be removing the extra steps to reduce the, total time.
Or we will not necessarily remove, right? We can minimize the wait time or non-value added time.
Correct. So even for that, I mean, even if we have to add new features, that's okay, right?
That's okay. Obviously, yes, that's okay.
Okay.
Right? Is that fine?
Yes.
Now, see, Lean, talks about 7 very important principles. These are 7 important principles of Lean that we'll go through, right? Now, we have to read it one by one, right? First principle, eliminate waste. Anything that does not add value to the customer is considered waste or muda. It should be try to eliminate it as much as possible, right? This is one of the principle of Lean, right? Second, deliver as fast as possible, right? Tell me, it's one of the agile way of doing the work, right? If you deliver in short iterations and incrementally, right, you get faster feedback. So deliver as fast as possible, Short iterations or small batches provide valuable feedback opportunities and allow effective decision making, right? Do you all agree with first two principles? Do you all agree with first two principles, guys?
Yes, Pankaj.
Right. The third one, amplify learning. Learning is amplified through short iterations, cycle, refactoring and integration testing, and frequent customer feedback sessions, right? The fourth one, empower the team. Lean focuses on team as a source of decision making, and management turns to the team to understand the best option and their cost, right? Now, see, first four are pretty simple. Now, the fifth one is slightly tricky. Now, decide as late as possible. The best way to manage uncertainty is by gaining information, minimizing assumption, deferring commitment to the last responsible moment, and breaking dependencies between the component, right? This is decide as late as possible. In some books, it is written as defer the decision making. Now, guys, this is an important one, so we have to spend more time here. Tell me, what is this? Decide as late as possible. What does it mean? What does it mean, decide as late as possible?
So it is going to help us to make sure that, whatever decision we are making is foolproof. There is no assumptions in that.
Absolutely. See, and it's under uncertainty.
Yes.
If there are uncertainties, right? Don't take a decision in haste. Wait for complete information to be available, then take the decision. Are you getting my point or not? Right. See, many times organization takes decision in haste, right? Without complete information available. Now, you all have seen your organization or some other organizations. Have you seen organization making choices in terms of, buying a wrong tool? And then later repenting that, they did not completely analyze. Has any one of yours, I have seen, many organizations, they bought a wrong tool, then later they were repenting and they were changing the tool. Is it a cost or not? Is it a cost or not? Now, for example, there was a company who bought Primavera as a tool. Primavera is definitely a good tool, right, for project management, right? You can create Gantt charts, you can track the project very well. But, if it boils down to construction industry, it's damn good. But a pharmaceutical company, they bought Primavera, right? Later, after 2-3 years, they realized that, Primavera is not a right choice for them. Now, can you say that they didn't follow this principle? Can you say that they didn't follow this principle? Tell me, guys. I have seen many companies reverting, a company bought a tool called as Visible. A company bought a tool called as Visible, right, for project management. Did they realize this is not the right tool for them? So did they take decision in haste or not?
They did.
Right. For example, right, see, when you start, when you have to take a decision, you might have multiple choices, right, like this. Is that okay? Is that okay, guys? Initially, when you start the project, you might have multiple options. Then, as you move forward, as you understand, right, as you do more and more analysis, can you narrow down the options?
Oh, Pankaj, I have a question here.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand this is one aspect of looking at the things, Is there another aspect like will there be delays in the project if we are not freezing on the tools and all? Will there be any impact on the project activities?
Now listen carefully. See, this is only in case of managing uncertainty, right? Tell me, if right in the beginning you are absolutely clear about choosing one tool, right? You are absolutely clear about the information to be used, right? You can directly choose one. If you are absolutely clear about, okay, this is the tool we have to use, and you are absolutely clear about the features, everything, right? Then will you follow this principle?
This is what the question is. I mean,
No,
how should we decide on?
No. This is only, right? You have to understand this principle in totality, right? This under uncertainty you're talking about, when you don't have complete information available, right? Only then I am saying so. See, when you are doubtful, you have so many choices and you are not doubtful which fit the bill, right? Then you should follow a set-based approach. For example, you study as you get more and more information, you will narrow down your options, right? And finally, you can narrow down to the best option. This is in case of uncertainty. Not all the time you have to delay. See, you have to understand this whole principle in totality. Decide as late as possible. The best way to manage uncertainty is by gaining information, minimizing assumptions, deferring commitment to the last responsible moment, and breaking dependency between the components. This is in situations where a lot of risk is there, a lot of uncertainty is there, and you're not very clear about which option to choose. Are you getting my point?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Makes sense.
Right? Only in uncertainty. See, I'll give you one more instance here. In one of my organization, we were doing a gateway project, right? It was a gateway project. It was integration of multiple systems together, right? With a lot of workflows. So we decided we'll use service-oriented architecture along with business process management, BPM tools, right? And blindly, right? Though, neither the company has expertise nor the suppliers have expertise on BPM. The company blindly, based on promotion done by the sales people, they chose Oracle's BPM, right? And they have chosen, they have purchased, they paid. After they paid for the product, right? When they were in the progress, right? During the development, they realized neither Oracle has a support. They don't have people supporting the tool. They don't have documentation supporting the tool, right? Whereas, IBM has much more matured, right, SOA and BPM tools. Is that okay? So, such wrong decisions can happen.
So, Pankaj,
are you following me or not?
Pankaj, I think not only this point that you have highlighted is solely responsible for that decision. I think the previous point where we are talking about empowering the team is also a deciding factor. Because as you're mentioning, management took the decision to go for that tool based on sales team's recommendation.
See, but even management is a team actually. Even management is a team. See, again, there are different levels of management. But yes, you're right. See, we should empower the team, right? But again, we should collaborate. Decision should be taken in a collaborative manner. Yes, but again, if somebody senior takes a decision, that is also wrong. To some extent, yes, you're right. We can say empower the team and take decisions collaboratively. This is also very, very important, right? Is that okay? Is that okay, guys?
Yes.
Yes, Pankaj.
Yeah. So now again, please, remember one thing, when I'm saying decide as late as possible, it is in the case where uncertainty is there, right? And multiple choices are there, right? So don't, reject options. Now, it's almost same like this. Many times you get a multiple choice question, right? Which is difficult to answer. So you apply elimination strategy or not? when a multiple choice question is very correct, you apply elimination strategy or not?
Yeah.
Right. So you start eliminating, you first eliminate first two, then, you choose between these two. So the same thing can happen here. When you have multiple options available and the risk is there, you don't have complete information about, right, the situation, then it's better to follow this principle.
And this is true in terms of like for lean model only, right?
No, it's for every model, forget about lean, it has nothing to do with lean. It's an important principle to be followed, right, in every situation. Right. Suppose, Vishal, I give you 4 tools, right? For example, you have to follow project management, right? You have to do project management. For project management, Primavera is a tool, MS Project is a tool, right? Jira is a tool, right? PlanView is a tool. There are multiple tools. Now, in such cases, right, should you do further analysis to, to narrow down your choices or not?
True, I definitely will do, but if I look at the second point of this lean software development, which says deliver as fast as possible.
No, this is different. See, deliver as fast as possible means, deliver your work in short iterations incrementally.
Correct. Correct. But if I don't implement, let's say, the project management tool, right, till the very late, I won't be able to track my project activities, right?
No, see, when you do deliver, as fast as possible, there is something called as definition of ready. So tell me, without, if the item is not as per the definition of ready, do you implement it?
No.
So, you are not ready and you are making a choice. There are multiple things that you have to take into consideration.
I mean, so if we have to, let's say, release MVP for a product in 3 months, 4 months, right? So I cannot defer my decision for like 2-3 months of what tool I have to choose for project management, because by then
no, follow Excel sheet. Don't use a tool. Don't use a tool. A wrong tool can create a more problem for you. Why not to use Excel sheets instead of using a wrong tool?
So Excel is also a tool in that case, right?
Excel is okay. Excel is okay, but till the time you are not buying and taking any major decision, right? Follow the same simple approach.
Okay. Okay.
Right. But don't take such decisions in haste. See, if you are doubtful about the situation, you have to do complete analysis, right?
Yeah. So this is basically true for each and every model of Agile.
Yes, every model, not lean, every model is true, right? See, this is simply, if you deliver incrementally in short iterations, you get faster feedback. Faster feedback means frequent adjustment, right?
Yeah.
These two are different, right? Now, the 6th principle is build integrity in, right? Now, see, don't think about quality only from the perspective of testing, right? Quality should be ingrained, right, throughout the project, right? Right? Start planning quality as early as possible in the software, or the project life cycle, right? Don't think only, from the perspective of testing, right? Build integrity in means ensuring that quality is embedded throughout the system, right? It requires automation of testing through builds, installation, and continuous integration, right? Now, what is continuous integration? We are going to learn tomorrow when we'll talk about extreme program, right? Now, this is very, very important. Think big, act small, fast, fail, learn rapidly. What does it mean? This is again an important principle, right? This is also a very important principle. Think big, act small, fail fast, learn rapidly. What does it mean?
Means the product vision should be big, but we should go with small iterations. We should be ready for failures to adopt the feedback basically from the customer so that we can readjust our product.
Now, see, there is something called a very, very important line here, right? Okay, so you are right. Bigger vision should be very, very clear to you, right? And you can deliver in small iterations, right? You can deliver incrementally and iteratively so that you learn rapidly, right? Because every iteration you get a feedback, right?
Yeah.
And based on that, you can refine. Now, apart from this, there is something called as failing fast. Guys, what is failing fast? Can somebody tell me what is failing fast?
So maybe like if I launch my product with 5 features and I fail rather than going with 100 features and then failing, would be costlier for me.
Now, failing fast is often related to something called as safe to fail. Have you heard of safe to fail experiments? Have you heard of safe to fail experiments, guys?
No, I have not heard.
No, Pankaj. No.
Okay. Now, there is something called as safe to fail. Now, apart from this, sometimes you will see the word spike. Have you heard of spike or risk-based spike?
Yeah, spike I heard.
Have you heard of these terms? Failing fast, safe to fail, spike, or risk-based spike. Have you heard of these terms? Tell me, if you come to know about a failure as early as possible, is it better or not? Should I use technology A, right, in a project or not? Earlier, you will come to know that this technology will not work in your project. Will it be better or not?
Yes.
So what you do is, suppose you are doubtful about any technology, right, or anything which might work in your project or not, you do a small experiment, right? You do a small experiment to check whether it is whether it will work in a small component or not. Now, if it works in that small component, you move ahead and implement it. If it doesn't work in that small component, right, if it doesn't work in the small component, then you have understood a very important fact that, if you move ahead with this technology, it will lead to big failure, right? This is called a safe to fail experiment or failing fast. Is that okay? And this experiment is called a spike or risk-based spike. Is that okay, guys? Is that okay?
Yes, Pankaj.
Right. Now, I explained you spike or risk-based spike in a technical context. Now tell me, can you use safe to fail kind of experiment in non-technical context also? Can you use them in non-technical context? Now, let me give you one example. Suppose you are planning to include a person in the project, right? A team member is supposed to join your project, and you come to know through multiple sources that this team member is a very difficult to work with and he's not a team player. So can you run a spike on him? Right? You can make him work on a very small assignment in your project with some people. If he gel with them as a team player, you can take him. If he doesn't gel with them as a team player, right? There are conflicts initially right in the small component, then you cannot include him in the team. Now tell me, is it a safe to fail experiment or not? Is it a safe to fail experiment or not? Tell me, guys. Is it a safe to fail experiment?
Yes, Pankaj.
Right? This is a safe to fail experiment, right? And any questions on this? Any questions, guys, on safe to fail experiment? Right. So this is in brief about lean, right?
Pankaj,
Yeah.
I mean, when we are saying fail fast, is it only in case of when we are certain about something?
No, failing fast will only be used whether, first of all, the term like failing fast, safe to fail, spike, they are all same term, right? Now, whenever there is an uncertainty, right? Whenever you are doubtful about your choices, right? It is always better to run some experiment, right? And if you come to know that you will fail in the very initial stage, right? this means you have prevented a bigger failure, right? See, later you will come to know about your mistakes. Later you will fix it, more you have to pay. Are you getting my point or not?
Yeah, so Pankaj, I mean, isn't it contradicting with the previous point when we were saying decide as late as possible? Because if we can do experiments at a very, if there is uncertainty, if we can do the experiments early, then why do we need to decide as late as possible?
No, so see, there are different situations, there are different, contexts. For example, if let's say you have multiple options, right? Now, see, decide as late as possible doesn't mean that, you can decide for infinite amount of time, right? It is saying that, defer commitment to the last responsible moment, right? Now that delay, then that late can be tomorrow, that late can be day after tomorrow, but don't take decision in haste. Right.
So, I mean, if we can do some.
So suppose I have to make a choice, right? Rather than making an upfront choice, I am first running a safe to fail experiment. Now, if I have run safe to fail experiment, and based on my safe to fail experiment, okay, I can use this, this approach, right? This means, this is in alignment with decide as late as possible. See, decide as late as possible means don't take decisions in haste, right? As late doesn't mean that, you have to wait for a year. Tell me, if I run a safe to fail experiment, am I not following this principle also? Am I not following this principle?
Yeah, I think, I mean, until we are reaching out to a successful technology or tool, we are delaying the decision.
Right. Obviously, see, this means take a decision when all the possible information is available to you, right? Is that okay?
Yes.
Right, and that happens as a result of failing fast or safe to fail, or right, spike. Now, see, the modern approach says, now if you go through modern approaches, they say succeeding often. See, they say safe to fail is good. They say safe to fail is a good way, but which is better, succeeding often or failing fast? What is important? Tell me, guys, what is important, succeeding often or failing fast?
Failing fast.
Succeeding often. Obviously, succeeding often is better. See, succeeding often is better. Now, but for that, you need a guru. If you have a guru or an agile coach or a very strong subject matter expert, will it help you to succeed often or not? But tell me, will you always be in a position to succeed often? You can try best, right? You will not be always, right? See, all of us understand one fact: succeeding often is better than failing fast. But we'll not be always in a position to succeed often, right?
And when that is going to happen, that is again a question mark. I mean, before the situation comes to like a conclusive point, we cannot say that we'll be succeeding or we'll be failing.
See, if you have very good, strong gurus in place, all solid people, then obviously this can happen, right? But again, yes, see, failing fast is good, but see, obviously, if I say failing fast is good, succeeding often is better, right? But it is very difficult to achieve, right? See, why do we run MVP? We discussed about MVP, right?
Correct.
See, the basic concept of MVP came from lean startup approach. The basic concept of minimum viable product, it came from lean startup approach in the field of product development, right? The failing fast or safe to fail experiment actually is a product of lean startup. Now, in a new product development, I told you that, first we develop minimum viable product even before the launch. Why do we build? And we give a demonstration of this minimum viable product to some focus group, or some subject matter expert or some relevant stakeholders. Now, based on their feedback, we decide to, right? Based on that, we decide to either stop, pivot, or persevere, right? For example, if the feedback is negative on MVP, right, we stop or pivot. Pivot means we change the direction. We do something different, or we stop. But if they say feedback is positive, then we persevere. We develop further increments. Now, is it not safe to fail experiment? Is it not safe to fail experiment, guys? When we develop a MVP and take feedback from relevant stakeholders, focus groups on a minimum viable product? Is it a MVP or not? Is it a safe to fail experiment or not? Are you getting my point or not? Divya, are you following?
Yes, Pankaj.
See, whenever we have to develop a product, is product development a huge investment or not? Is product development a huge? So we don't develop a huge product. We don't go with a release. First, we create a MVP, minimum viable product with minimum feature. We give a demonstration of this feature to all the relevant stakeholders or focus groups. Tell me, if the stakeholder says this won't work, then what should we do? If the stakeholder says it won't work, should we stop or change the direction or not?
Yes.
Right? This is, and you know, it actually, this feedback has prevented a bigger failure for us, right? This is a safe to fail experiment only, right? But if they say this idea is great, it should work, then what you do? You build additional features, you persevere, right? So based on the feedback of MVP, you stop, pivot, right? If the idea doesn't work, you stop or pivot, change the direction. If it works, the stakeholder says, right, it's really good, you persevere. You build additional features, right?
In reality, generally we have like 50-50 or 60-40 ratio.
Of people who give positive or negative feedback?
Yes.
See, you know, it all depends. So again, you know, how you have chosen, because see, when you get your MVP validated, you depending on who should be the right focus group, right? Because you can't show it. Generally, you call people who are really relevant for you, right? Or, you know, it should be based on the data. For example, I'll give you one example. Suppose you have to build it. We take an example of travel portal last time.
Yes.
Now, suppose, you know, I'm planning to launch a travel portal, right? Now, before travel portal, I already have a call center, right? Where people can know about flight timings, you know, they can book ticket also. But what is happening is, you know, I'm not able to manage, right? All the calls at my call center. So there are a lot of negative feedbacks that, you know, they don't reply, they don't answer many times or whatever, right? Many times we are not able to connect to them. So I decided to make a travel portal. Now, but travel portal is a huge investment. So I first thought of, I'll create one web page, right? Which will simply have information about flight timings and flight schedules, right? Nothing else. Now, when I create this page, now based on the number of hits, right, these pages have, number of people, visitors who have come to this website, right, in next 2 months, right? Will I come to know about the success or failure? Whether this idea will work or not? See, for example, how many people are coming to the new web page which talks about flight information, and how much time do they spend on my web page, right? And also, you know, because of the web page, the load on my call center is decreasing, right? There may be some positive feedbacks also about the page. So based on this, can I decide whether this idea will work or not?
Yes.
Right? So, you know, based on the nature of your MVP, you have to choose the audience who will, or the method of approval very, very carefully. Are you following me, Charu?
Oh, I'm following you on theory basis, but when we come to practical scenarios, this is what the practical scenario is. We never get yes or no. It's always like gray, 50-50, 60-45, 60-40, 55-45. In those scenarios, it gets really complicated to decide where, or I mean, I'm just concerned on those parts. What should we do to address those scenarios? Because everyone is coming with a fact. If they are a stakeholder, they do have some logics, they do have some data, and they are coming with logics only. So it's not about right and wrong. But yes, it becomes difficult to take a decision in those scenarios, which way to follow on, because they are stakeholders, so they are definitely focused people.
No. Focus group का मतलब focus people नहीं होता. देखो, focus group का मतलब है pre-qualified stakeholders who can make a comment on, who are in a position to comment on, right? They're like people who, from the market, who have been working on similar kind of project before.
No,
देखो,
I was talking about.
अगर आप you know, suppose you are launching a new model of a car, तो आपका focus group कौन होगा? जो recurring car buyers, right? Or people who are into selling of cars. Only those type of people, right? For example, if you are launching a healthcare product, right? Then again, people from healthcare industry or people, right, who are associated with it, that will be a focus group, who are in a position to comment on that, right?
Kind of heuristic evaluations.
नहीं, देखो, इसको qualitative भी कर सकते हो, quantitative भी कर सकते हो, right? For example, the example I gave you, it was very quantitative evaluation. देखो, मैं तो quantitative किया कि कितने लोग आ रहे हैं मेरे वेब पेज पे, मैं उनको number of hits भी note करूंगा, and I'll also note the time they spend on my website, right? If there are any feedbacks about the website, I'll take that also into notice, right? So that was more like a quantitative, not heuristic, right?
In heuristic, like if we are confused between that, can we approach the expert people?
इसमें सिर्फ एक्सपर्ट आते हैं फोकस ग्रुप्स में.
अच्छा.
देखो, अगेन फोकस ग्रुप कौन करता है? प्री क्वालिफाइड स्टेक होल्डर्स होते हैं इसमें. दे गिव देयर व्यू पॉइंट. वो तो डिसीजन में नहीं लेते, वो तो अपना व्यू पॉइंट देते हैं खाली.
हाँ.
Then we have to evaluate their viewpoint and then finally come with a decision.
Okay. Evaluation of viewpoint, it is done by focus group people. या फिर ये heuristic.
Focus group people will go only give viewpoints because they have capability. They are pre-qualified stakeholders.
Okay.
Right? उन्होंने अपने viewpoints दे दिए, what will work, what will not work. उसके बाद उसको एनालाइज कैसे करना है, कौन सा ट्रेड ऑफ मैट्रिक्स बनेगा, कौन सा स्कोरिंग मॉडल बनेगा, वो हमें खुद बनाना है.
अच्छा. बट नहीं, अगर हमें ये कराना होता है तो फिर ये उनके व्यू पॉइंट्स को लेकर के ही हम आगे yes or no evaluate करते हैं.
बिल्कुल.
Okay.
Because these are pre-qualified stakeholders, right?
And based on that data, again we can get consensus कि
देखो, जरूरी नहीं हम स्टॉप करें. We can change the direction also. थोड़ा सा बदल भी सकते हैं उसे. देखो, तभी मैंने बोला stop or pivot, right? Right? अगर उन्होंने straight away बोल दिया कि it works very well, तो then we'll start moving ahead.
फिर तो कोई point ही नहीं है. Stop के case में it makes sense.
But having said this, choosing a right focus group is also important.
Okay.
Right? For example, in our case, हमने MVP बिल्कुल खोल दिया था सब लोगों के लिए. People anyone who buys it, who is a frequent traveler can be, assessing our portal, right?
Mm-hmm.
But many times in many products, you have to have very focused people, right, who can act as a focus group. So it depends on the nature of the product, right? Who the end users are.
Okay.
Right? See, my question is, did you understand the concept of failing fast, safe to fail?
Yes.
ये सारी चीजें same है. देखो, because when we'll do extreme programming, spike is a very important concept, and generally whether it's PMI, ACP or PMP, in one or two questions there will be this word used, spike.
Yes.
Right? ये spike ECG वाला spike नहीं है. Right? जो ECG में भी spike होता है ना, because what happens, sometimes I ask a question to people, so interpret ऐसे करते हैं कि जैसे ECG में spike आता है, वो वाला spike नहीं है. This spike is simply a small experiment, right, which can be done in technical context or non-technical context to validate whether something will work or not, right? This spike is nothing but a safe to fail experiment, right?
Like POC, right?
हाँ, POC can also fall under this category, right? A small POC can also fall under this category, right? अच्छा दोस्तों, अब मेरा एग्जाम है, थोड़ा सा मैं अपने को मूड चेंज कर लूं because it's a totally different topic, international financial management, right? At 12 o'clock. So can we stop the class here today, and tomorrow we can have a longer class, right? Lengthier class. So can we stop here today?
Yeah, please.
We'll start.
Pankaj.
Thank you. We'll start the training tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. sharp, right? And we'll try to cover as much as possible, right? So thanks, guys. We are wrapping